Well, election integrity continuing to be a major focus in this election year as states across the country have early voting underway for primaries. You have the November 3rd general midterm election that's going to garner a lot of attention. But will there be some changes to federal election law down the pipe? Well, it's a question that's being posed, obviously, with the House passing several measures requiring voter ID and other issues and initiatives Republicans call election integrity. You have Democrats pushing back, saying that it's going to try to keep people from getting to the polls. Well, yesterday, during the celebration for Black History Month at the White House, President Donald Trump stood next to an ally who pushed for more election integrity.
I say this because this is the greatest country on the planet. American citizens should decide American election. Vote for the SAVE Act.
Thank you. Leo 2.0. We love Leo. Thank you, Leo. That was very good.
Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, yesterday, taking questions from reporters, doubled down on the president's policy of ensuring there's election integrity with voter ID laws.
This is a common sense policy that nearly 90% of the country agrees with. You need an ID to go and purchase alcohol. You need an ID to go to the library and check out a book. And so the president thinks you should have an ID to vote in our nation's elections. And I know the vast majority of Americans agree with him on that. And he wants Congress to move quickly to get it done.
A lot of the debates have been around the possibility of impeding upon people who need to get a certain type of identification in order to show for voting or registering to vote. And a lot of the issues stem around the questions of an individual's status as an immigrant or a non-citizen. And how do you ensure that those voter rolls are cleaned of non-citizens? These are all questions being posed and debated, but the House measure now into the Senate, unclear what's going to happen. And that would just regulate federal elections. And there was a lot of controversy down in Georgia in the 2020 election and also in other elections and voter ID laws that they have there. Well, the Center Square's Kim Jarrett interviewed Georgia Secretary Brad Raffensperger, who's also running for governor in Georgia. And he says that Georgia's voter ID laws are actually helping boost voter integrity and confidence in elections.
In Georgia, over 95% of all Georgians, have photo ID. And right now, Georgia is recognized as having the most secure and safe elections in America. It's never decreased turnout, but it's made sure that we had the right amount of voter identification so people had trust in it.
Now, again, Georgia has very strict voter ID laws. They are one of many states, most of the country, that has some form of voter ID. More than 30 states have voter ID laws, and about a dozen or so do not. They have different types of verification checks, but Republicans in Congress looking to get the SAVE Act through the final passage so that they can have uniformity when it comes to federal election integrity. Now, Kansas, another state that has strict voter ID laws, but there was a measure in the Kansas House that was being criticized because it was looking to expand early voting.
As a conservative Republican who worked in the Secretary of State's office under Chris Kobach, I will not compromise on election integrity. This weak-kneed reform is an outright betrayal of the core Republican values. Sabotaging election integrity by extending early voting flies in the face of the Trump administration's ironclad push for secure same-day voting. If we want real election reform, we must require proof of citizenship, switch to hand-counted paper ballots, and declare Election Day as Election Day. Kansans deserve legislation that won't compromise the integrity of our elections. We must secure our elections like our republic depends on it, because it does.
So while Kansas does have strict voter ID laws, there's concern there that expanding early voting could diminish election integrity and trust in the ballot.